Thanks for joining me on episode 1134 of the Inspired Stewardship Podcast.
I'm Karen Tiber Leland, and I challenge you to invest in yourself, invest in others, develop your influence, and impact the world by using your time, your talent, and your treasures to live out your calling. Having the ability to recognize when you are not managing your energy well is key. And one way to be inspired to do that is to listen to this, the Inspired Stewardship Podcast with my friend, Scott Mader.
And in all of these ways, you can plug yourself in with a community of accountability, a community of growth, and a community of abundance. And that will help you focus on those things. And when you focus on those things, you're always going to find more success than when you don't. Welcome and thank you for joining us on the Inspired Stewardship Podcast. If you truly desire to become the person who God wants you to be, then you must learn to use your time, your talent, and your treasures for your true calling. In the Inspired Stewardship Podcast, you will learn to invest in yourself, invest in others, and develop your influence so that you can impact the world. In today's episode about impacting the world through stewarding your talent, I talk with you about how a community around you can help your mindset and success. I share how the community can help your accountability, and I also share how your community can help your growth and abundance mindset. You've heard me talk about developing your talent, and one of the best ways to do that is through books. But if you're like most people today, it's hard to find the time to read, and that's why today's podcast is brought to you by Audible. Go to inspiredstewardship.com/audible to sign up, and you can get a 30-day free trial. There's over 180,000 titles to choose from, and you can pick one and listen your way to developing your talents via Audible. That's inspiredstewardship.com/audible to get your free trial and listen to great books the same way you're listening to this podcast. Just like yesterday, I was talking about how community can really help you with your productivity. And today I wanted to talk a little bit about how community can help your mindset and your success. I think what's interesting is all too often we tend to have this almost scarcity or fear-based mindset when it comes to what we do and how we do it and helping and succeeding. It feels if we want to succeed, we have to do it somehow by preventing others from their success. And yet the truth is, the best way to actually succeed is by helping others succeed as well. When we can all win, it's so much better than when there's a winner and a loser. I'm not saying that there's a culture where we can never have any losers or no one ever loses. I'm not talking about some sort of drive to mediocrity where everyone just barely gets by and therefore that's good enough. I'm talking about having a mindset of abundance, having a mindset of growth, recognizing that you can do better by helping others do better, as opposed to the only way you can do better is if others do worse. And plugging into a community of people that believe that way can really help you grow. The problem is finding such a community. Yesterday, I mentioned Coach Connections as one of the communities I'm plugged into, and I'm actually plugged into that one, and I'm plugged into some others as well. But what I've always sought out is communities that have a giver's gain and a growth and abundance mindset. I belonged to BNI for a number of years. I'm currently taking a break from it just because I've got other things that I'm focusing on. But those sorts of areas of community, when you find a community of people who actually want to help you succeed and are less worried about their own success, and you have that same mindset and you plug in, then it lifts everybody up. You also need a community that has a sense of accountability. You need to surround yourself with some people that will call you out, that will say, hey, right now you're being lazy, or right now you're slacking off, or right now you're living out of alignment with what you said your real goals and values are. You need people that will call you out in a loving way. It can help you do more and achieve more. You need to have people around you that say, what have you learned today? Yes, you made a mistake. Yes, something went wrong. Yes, you had a failure. Yes, something that you launched didn't work, or something that you tried didn't work. But you know what? You learned something from it. You grew. And because of that, you'll do better next time. You need to have people around you that hold up the idea that abundance is something we can all have, that we're all given gifts and we're all giving blessings, and our job is to pour those out into the world so that others can benefit from them, not hoard them for ourselves. When you plug yourself into a community like that, you will discover yourself actually growing more than you would have if you sat all by yourself and don't surround yourself with others. It's an interesting thing. We belong to community. We belong to tribes. We've always, for thousands of years, been surrounded by a close community of people. And now we're not doing that as much anymore. And again, just like we talked about with productivity, this is one of those areas where technology can help, because you can connect with people that you would normally never connect with, people on the other side of the planet. And you can use them as part of your community and be part of their community as well. But as well, you need to recognize that sometimes what we do is we hide behind technology. We try to use this as a shield, and it ends up being something that keeps us from actually connecting with others. Because we can sit at home and do everything that we need to do, we don't actually plug in. And there's a need to plug in both in the real world and in the virtual world at times. Again, sometimes you need one over the other. And both are valuable, both are powerful, both are needed. And in all of these ways, you can plug yourself in with a community of accountability and a community of growth and a community of abundance, and that will help you focus on those things. And when you focus on those things, you're always going to find more success than when you don't. Thanks for listening. Thanks so much for listening to the Inspired Stewardship podcast. As a subscriber and listener, we challenge you to not just sit back and passively listen, but act on what you've heard and find a way to live your calling. If you like this episode on the stewardship of talent, you can go over to inspiredstewardship.com/talent and sign up for our 5-week series on the stewardship of talent. Or if you're in the U.S., you can text 44222 talent tips. That's talent tips to 44222 and get those tips. Until next time, invest your time, your talent, and your treasures. Develop your influence and impact the world.